Right, well, let's take a closer look at this issue and at a practical example of how a community has found a way to do what David Oburo is talking about, benefit from the endangered mangrove forest without cutting it down. Ferdinand Omondi reports from Gazi village on Kenya's Indian Ocean coast.
Height 6.5.
In the thick mangrove forest of Gazi, Josephat and his crew are taking measurements of the trees. They are here to monitor the mangrove forest and to protect it from destruction.
15.
They call themselves Mikoko Pamoja, a pioneering initiative in which the community gets paid to preserve the forest that cleans the air we breathe, otherwise known as carbon trading.
The major contributors of climate change is greenhouse gases, and carbon dioxide is one of them. So if we plant more trees, that means that we shall be able to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, as the trees are absorbing the carbon dioxide through the process of photosynthesis. Therefore, we are conserving mangroves, meaning that we are trapping this carbon dioxide. So these mangroves are now sequestering that amount of carbon dioxide and being paid for that.
For many years, these forests were threatened by human activity, with communities cutting them down for firewood or wood. Mikoko Pamoja is replanting depleted sections of this vast forest in Gazi Bay after a successful pilot project initiated by a scientist years ago. This is ground zero, where they did the initial test to see whether the mangrove forest can be reclaimed. I'm told 25 years ago, all these forests had been destroyed by excess harvesting, and even the soil had been eroded, and this was nothing but sand. Then they started planting, and 25 years later, this is the result. The forest is back to its former glory, and so is the sticky mud back. The regenerated mangrove forest has many benefits. It is a buffer between the land and the sea, home to marine life like mollusks and crabs, and a breeding ground and refuge for fish, which is the primary source of money and food. On these shores of Gazi Bay, fishermen return from the sea with their catch. The harvest is healthy, and fishmongers are at hand to haggle about the prices. Juma Said, a fisherman of many decades around here, says the mangrove restoration project has also saved their business.
Our people in the past did not have the knowledge that when you cut down mangroves, the fish will disappear. So they cut down the mangroves in plenty to make money, only to realize that in the process the fish also went. But the project started. We were educated and we planted the mangroves. We noticed the fish population growing again because they had a refuge and a place to breed.
Mikoko Pamoja makes just over $10,000 a year from carbon trading. The money is pumped back into community projects like education, provision of water, and ecotourism. Scientists say mangrove forests are disappearing 3 times faster than those only found on land. Conservation projects like these are a breath of fresh air in more ways than one. Ferdinand Omondi, BBC News, Gazi Bay, Kenya.